poppin', you guys? It's your girl SJ, and I'm here with my good friend
Jeff.
and together we are the Popcorn Patrol podcast. This week we are starting our BIPOC series for the month of March, and we are starting with Get Out. So we hope you'll join us as we review Get Out for you. Welcome back, guys. It's your girl SJ, and I'm here with my good friend Jeff. And this week we are doing Get Out. We are reviewing Get Out for you, and I just want to give you a little synopsis. Chris and his girlfriend Rose have reached the meet the parents' milestone of dating. She invites him for a weekend getaway upstate with her parents, Missy and Dean. And at first, Chris reads the family's overly accommodating behaviors, nervous attempts to deal with their daughter's interracial relationship. But as the weekend goes along, a series of increasingly disturbing discoveries leads him to the truth that he never could imagine. Jeff, can you give us some facts? What do you know about this movie?
Well, it was written and directed by Jordan Peele, and it stars Daniel Kaluuya, Allison Williams, Bradley Whitford, and Lil Rel Howery, who appeared in The Outlaws, which we reviewed season 1, episode 2. And I love him. He is hilarious. But anyways, that had a budget of $4.5 million. That's it. 4.5 million. Like,
Wow,
amazing.
that's small.
That is a small budget.
Yeah.
And it did over 250 million worldwide at the box office. So it brought in some decent cash compared to its budget.
Yeah.
Rotten Tomatoes critics gave it 98%. The audience score gave it 86%.
That's not bad though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Well,
Okay.
let's hit up with the popcorn paradise.
You
What do you got?
bet. Do you want to start us off? You want me to start us off?
You go ahead first this time.
All right. So listen, from the beginning of this movie, I really liked the girlfriend. I really liked her character. I was rooting for them. I was like, this is a cute little interracial couple we got going on here. I feel it. I feel they're gonna last. It's loving, it's caring, it's beautiful. I love to see it. Okay. But as soon as they hit that deer on the highway, I said, pause. Something doesn't feel right when they're on the way to the parents' house. I was like, huh, um, yeah. All of a sudden you get hit with like this uneasy feeling, which I think was the purpose of that whole thing, because everything's going great until that point
Yeah.
in the movie. And then all of a sudden, like you're like, oh, the mood of the movie changes. You feel that mood of the movie changes. They do a good job at like making you feel kind of on a little roller coaster ride. Jeff, what you got?
I did not. So I was watching when I watched this movie the first time a couple of years ago. I did not know. I didn't suspect the girlfriend being in on it
Me
until
neither.
he was looking at the photos in the box. That's when I was like, oh crap, she's in on it. And then what solidified that was like, I don't know, like she could have taken pictures with those people because those people are close to her family, right? Like the one is the maid and or the housekeeper, the other one is the yard keeper. Like she could have, yeah, okay, there it wasn't cemented though until he closed the door and looked up and she was standing in the door when she's like, okay, you ready to leave? That was when it like was
Then you
cemented into me. She's in on it. She absolutely is on it. And then
But you know what tipped me off in the pictures is that she was in modern clothes with the dude that's working for them,
Mhm.
and they were like snuggled up on a, I don't know, hammock or something and taking pictures, right? And then there was another scene where she's in like this old little eyelet petticoat type deal, like very vintagey, and you're like, but that's like older fashion. So we're like, what's going on here? That's when it clicked to me. I was like, wait, she in on it. I totally clued in at that point only. And that point only did I clue in. I was invested. I was like, "Oh, these 2 are good." Like, they're good through the
Yep.
whole movie until that scene. So, I
I
agree
thought
with
I
you.
thought for sure that it was that she was not in on it because she even said, they met the parents, and then she even made the comment to him like, "Yeah, okay, fine. I see what you mean. Like, yeah, okay, that this they can come off as racist now that I am witnessing."
Right, and it was so
Right?
genuine too.
Yeah,
Whoever that
exactly.
actress is, she made
Yeah.
me, like, fall in. I was like,
Yep.
"Oh," you
Absolutely.
know?
And then yeah, so that was what kind of like made me it just kept stringing me along that the girlfriend wasn't in on it. That it was just there because there was a couple scenes. It's the look, it's like the zoom in on the face, or not even the zoom in, but like the look on the face of the parents when they make
Okay,
certain comments to see how he reacts.
right.
And it's those little comments that he made that like the dad and the mom make, and that are just like there's something going on here, right? It's
Well,
kind of
and as soon as you see them, as soon as they get introduced, the parents, you're like, "Hmm."
yeah.
Like, you're kinda you have kinda have your, like, detective face on. You're like,
Yeah. Well, the
"Mm."
dude's wearing like this like tight black shirt and he's got
Yeah,
those glasses and I'm like, that's a bad guy. Like I'm
yeah.
thinking, I was like, yep,
That's
that's a
a
bad guy.
goon.
That is a bad guy. Like he's not up to any good stuff going
And
on.
the mom is given, like, some wicked side eye. She's,
Yeah.
like, not saying too much, and I'm
Yeah.
like, she's friendly, but not too friendly, and that was like, I don't know, like, if you were really happy to meet somebody, you wouldn't be given side eyes, and then she's asking him, like, weird questions, like, "Do you smoke?" "That's my daughter." Like, she's saying stuff like that to him, and you're like, "Hmm, that's a little it's getting a little feisty for the first time meeting him. Maybe save that for, like, the 3rd meeting or something."
Yep.
But, yeah, so yeah, totally agree there. Yeah, and that actually brings me to my next point. It was hard to get a read on the characters, which is not a bad thing. It's not a popcorn prison. To me, it's a good thing in this movie because it's a thriller suspense type film. You really do not really know who's bad and who's good. You have a sense, you have ideas, and when you start meeting the rest of the family, you get little glimpses and you're like, something weird is happening here, but we don't know what it is.
I like it
Um,
when a writer and a director as a team, they give you time in the story to try and figure out what's going on.
mhm,
Like they could have easily, as soon as he walked through the door, just jabbed him in the neck, and then
yep,
with Dexter style, knocked him out, and then they could have easily tied him to the chair and done it that way, and then drug out that part of the movie,
yeah.
but they didn't.
But it
You
no,
know?
and it's a slow burn, but,
It
like, in
is.
a good way, like, in a
Yeah.
good way, and so, like, you're sitting like, watching and wondering, Okay, what's gonna happen to these characters? Obviously, something has to happen, right? So, that scene where the mother calls him into her office,
Yes.
I was like, "Oh, she just wants to talk to him," like, but it's a
My
weird time
radar
of
was
night.
going off. I'm
It
just like,
was
oh,
because it
she's something
first
fishy's gonna happen here.
Well, the way they started the scene, I was like, "Is this real or was he dreaming?" Like when, the worker was coming towards him, and then you have, um, what's her name? Doris? Is it Doris? The other one, the other person working for them.
Kinda
Sh
like the
when
maid.
she Yeah, or the
Mhm.
maid or
Yeah.
something like that. She was out there as well, and you're kinda like, "Is he dreaming? Is Chris
Yeah.
dreaming? What's going on?" So then you go in and the mom it's, like, late, right? It's, like, 3 o'clock in the morning, and the mom's just sitting there drinking tea casually, and
Yep.
she's like, "Come into my office." And he's like he had, like, good reactions, Chris. He was kinda like okay, but he's not wanting to be rude, so he goes in and he sits down. Soon as she starts stirring the tea, after first I was like, "Why is she stirring that?" And then I was like, "Oh, she's doing some hoodoo.
Yep.
She is working his the psychological she's
Yep.
playing games. She's playing game."
Yep.
So, it was, really clever. I thought that was really clever because 'cause I'm like, it makes sense because she's a hypnotherapist and this or psychologist, and this is what she no, she's a hypnotherapist, and this is what she does, right? She's a pro, she's been doing it for years. Um,
Like part of the scene though that gets me, that I like and enjoy, is when she's stirring that cup and she's got him in the position, and just as she says sink into the floor, he
oh yeah.
realizes what's going on and he's like no, and then it like the audio goes a bit deeper and she's like sink.
You get that melting
Yeah.
feeling.
And it's, yeah,
Yeah.
and it's just, I don't know, it just, I love that kind of effect. It was really neat. It was
It
played
was really cool.
well at that time. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. That was a cool scene, and then you see him slowly dropping into, like, just, like, space and time almost, you know? And it gave you a real feeling, like, I don't know what it is to be hypnotized, nor do I want to be hypnotized, but if I was hypnotized, I feel like that's what it would feel like. They gave it like a good there was good imagery there to kind
Yep.
of give you a sense of what he was going through, for
Yep.
sure.
Absolutely.
Um,
One of my popcorn paradises is Little Ralph Howery. He is just, he's great in this movie. That's his buddy at the
oh, yeah.
beginning.
Oh,
That's
gosh.
just like
He's terrific.
like they're gonna kidnap you and turn you into one of them sex slaves, and just, going on about this redonkulous stuff. And then like it turns out that it's like somewhat kind of true actually. He was
Yeah.
nailing this the whole time. And and every time our main character calls back to him to check in with him, check on his dog and stuff, he's always telling them what they're doing, and he's like, "That's weird, man. Don't be. You better be coming home. Like this is crazy stuff." And you
His
know,
radar is up. His
yeah.
radar is up. He knows. He's
And
just
when
being
he was
real. He's a
talking to
real one.
when he was talking to the girlfriend, and the girlfriend's like, "Oh, I don't know, like I don't know, he left here, he took a cab or whatever, and he left here." And then he's just like,
He
"Well, what kind of cab did he take?" And he's trying to like get to the bottom of this, and then he's just like, I'm gonna put you, hold on, I'm gonna put you on hold," and then he like mutes it, and then he's just like,
yeah.
"I knew she was bad. She's like,
She
just so you know."
lying.
Oh yeah, yeah. And then
Yeah.
goes back to her, and she's just like, "Yeah, well, you've always wanted me, haven't you?" And she's like, now she's trying to seduce him, and then
And that's after he started to record
yeah,
the
after he started
phone call,
recording,
right?
yeah,
It's like and I'm like, "How did she know?"
yeah,
But
yeah.
I guess,
And yeah, so she says all that stuff about like him wanting her and wanting to be with her and sleeping with her and stuff, and he's just like, he hangs up and he's like, "Damn, she's a genius. She's a genius. She's so smart." Like, yeah, just
yeah.
he does a really good job.
He
To
definitely he
to hold it
definitely
all.
took the edge off in this movie for sure. He was a good vice,
Yeah,
and he ended up saving his friend. He was like a
absolutely.
real one. He went back and he, like,
Now,
brought his
when
dog.
that cop car first came, I'm like, oh, this is that bald white cop at the beginning that wanted his ID, and now he's dead. This is it. It's over.
Yeah.
Like that's how I thought the movie was going to end. But when the door opened and it said airport, I'm like,
Airport. Yeah,
oh,
yeah, yeah.
this
That's
is
his
this is little
buddy.
this is little Rel Howery.
Yeah.
Like he's coming to save him. But yeah,
I
um,
like that a
the
lot, actually.
paradise point for
Yeah,
me.
I really liked how this movie was suspenseful without being gory. You know me, I don't like scary movies, but, like, this movie was not gross. But it had the suspense, and it had the excitement, and it
Yep.
had the drama in it that you're looking for in that type of movie. So I really appreciated that. Like, I don't mind watching movies like this. Like, it was,
It's
um
good because he's got two more movies like this. He's
does
got
he?
Us and Nope. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh
are
yeah.
we okay.
Yeah.
I like Nope, just the
Yeah.
title.
Yeah.
Um, shall we get into our popcorn prisons, or do you have more popcorn paradise?
Oh yeah, I mean, I can move on. I mean, I absolutely love this movie. I could talk about all the good stuff forever, but
Right.
yeah, we can move on to the prison.
Sure. Okay, so I was really sad that the girlfriend was in on this whole thing. This is part
Yeah,
of my popcorn prison. I was sad. I was disappointed. I was like, "Oh, no." I would have liked if she was, like, not in on it, and it was just the parents doing it, and she didn't know, and then she had to go, like, through stuff with him too. Like, that would have been kinda cool, you know? And they came out on top type thing. The friend could have still came and rescued them and all that stuff too, but I guess I guess it's not quite the same. Um, did you hear I was reading this thing in I think it was Entertainment Weekly that Jordan Peele joked that Get Out is a documentary.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which I thought was funny.
I mean,
But
I'm surprised. Well, I mean,
uh
maybe surprised a little bit. I don't think we're at the point in technology that we can, because from what I understand, it's a brain swap.
it's a brain swap. Yeah,
Yeah,
because you see him
you cut open the
um
head of the
cutting
white guy,
because he's
and
trying to do eye implants or something.
so what they do is they would take my brain out of me and put it in you.
Right,
That's how that would go work. And then my consciousness goes with my brain into you. But for um in order for the brain to work, the old the like the I'm person A, you're person B, they can't remove a portion of their brain that connects it to
right,
whatever. And then but so it makes that person in there, and then they hypnotize them to never come out. That's
right.
kind of how that works. And I don't think we're quite at that spot in
No,
technology for that, like brain transplants.
no.
Maybe we are. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a surgeon. But
I don't think so, though. You think you would have heard about stuff like that,
but
but
that being
no.
said, I don't not believe for a second that he was a little genuine when he said that. That this, I mean, it could be a documentary, because I'm sure there are people that are doing this kind of stuff.
Well, and it may not be like that extreme. It may just be like, the parents are mistreating, other races, like if
Yeah.
their daughter or son or whatever brings home another race, they're mistreating them, or if
And hypnotizing them to stay around and selling them to their friends. Like, yeah,
whoever.
I could that totally could buy that. Yeah.
Yeah, and it doesn't just apply to, people like it could be anybody, right?
Right.
Like anybody, any group of people.
Yep.
So yeah, I mean, in that way, I mean, I guess technically it could be like a documentary
Yep.
but he was joking around when he said it, obviously, but I can see how he could joke about something like that because I'm sure lots of stuff happens. Just look at Jeffrey Dahmer and his stuff that he be doing.
Yep.
Anyways,
I had two small nitpicks with this movie.
all
One
right.
is I don't like the actor that plays the brother. I don't know. It just doesn't seem
Oh my God, he was
like,
like a hillbilly. Like
yeah.
I just
He
didn't
doesn't
expect
seem to
that
fit
because
in the family.
no,
Like,
because the
oh,
rest of the family's all put together and they're all like they all have great jobs and they're all, educated and blah blah blah. And he just
yeah.
seemed like he just ran off a train
Yeah.
track from the woods or something.
Yeah. And then the other one that I have is if you're doing this, why is the teacup the item that is used for, like, would she not have other item that she would have on her person at all times that would make the sound that the of
The
the
teacup,
teacup banging? Like, you would think that that would be something that she would carry all the time with her, considering she has at least two people in her house on her property that at any time a flash would change them back to their
whatever. Well,
normal.
I don't think it's always a teacup that she's
No.
using. I
Okay.
think she's using different things tailored to each individual.
Okay.
And the only reason I feel like the teacup worked for Chris because for whatever reason that's kind of how she lured him into the office by offering him tea, right?
Right.
So she would have had to plan that out like, "Oh, I know how I'm going to do this. I'm going to offer him tea and use the teacup." Like it seemed very calculated to me in my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm
To
not
the
a
point
psycho, but
to the
if I
point
was
that I assumed that she did that with all of
I don't think
the
so.
girlfriend's boyfriend, boys, the
I think
girlfriend's boyfriends.
Because I think there are so many different ways that you can hypnotize somebody, and if she is a person who is good
Yep.
at her craft, she would know those ways and she would use them to her advantage, and I think using different ways on different people,
Yeah.
I think that would be more beneficial, and that's probably why she wasn't so worried with the teacup or why she didn't have something like that just kicking around or like a ding or something that would send them back into hypnosis.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess
so
the other thing too is if she if he didn't like I imagine most of the guys and gals that the girlfriend brought home probably weren't calling their friend like,
right.
once or twice a
Well,
day,
they
right?
would have took the phone or maybe they weren't looking for the signs. Maybe
Yeah.
he was super skeptical from the beginning, and maybe the other people weren't. Maybe they weren't even thinking about that until they got there and they were in it, and it was too late,
Yeah.
which almost happened for him, right? Like, he was
Now,
kind of
I do think that they've left it open for
a
a
sequel.
sequel, possibly. Well, because he survives,
Right.
but also we didn't see any scene where the other dude from the musician that went missing for 6 months, the guy that he when he was taking the picture with his phone, it woke him up and he told him to get out.
Oh,
We
yeah,
didn't
yeah,
see
yeah.
we didn't see that guy.
Lakeith.
We didn't see that guy die,
No,
right? So,
no.
I wonder if now, I mean, that whole
We'll
family's
hear we'll hear his story or
like
something.
that whole family's dead now. Like the
Right.
mom, the dad, the son, the daughter who was the girlfriend, the grandma and the grandpa. They're all dead. And that's the other thing too. I wasn't expecting that twist where the maid was the grandma and
Right. And
the
the other dude was the
was the
grandpa.
grandpa. Wasn't expecting that twist. That was a bit of a twist that I'm like, oh, okay. All right.
Interesting.
Makes sense, I guess.
Does it? Oh.
Well, yeah, it makes sense because they were implanting people into other people.
Oh,
And
right, right.
it
Oh,
would make
yeah,
sense
to
that, yeah.
got it, got it,
Yeah.
got it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I didn't get it at the time, but now that you're saying that, I understand now because they have the video with the grandpa in it, and he
Yeah.
was the one who basically started
Started
the
it all.
whole, yeah, the whole
And you see the
thing.
picture of the family, and the little kids in the family are the
Yeah, or them,
girlfriend and the
or
brother.
the yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It was interesting, it was interesting.
Yep.
Let me
That's all I
see
had for
here.
prison.
I had the beginning was a bit slow. That was one of my popcorn prisons. The beginning started off a bit slow for me. I mean, it was interesting to see how it progressed, and they did let it breathe a little bit, which was good. But I just found it a little pacey, a little slow. Um, and then I had that the character of Chris was very melancholy. I don't know if you found that, but throughout the whole movie, even when he was happy, he was like almost like he was sad, like through the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's a character choice or the way he is or the actor is, or I don't really know, but I just
I
found him
think
so.
that he's kinda like that because
Oh, is he?
he plays a character in, um, Black Panther, and he's very
Yes.
chill, just kinda like that as well in Black Panther.
Yeah. It's not like a bad thing or anything. I just noticed it was just a little weird, a little
Yeah.
off-putting, which I guess plays well for the movie, but um, it was a weird choice, I guess, for
Mhm.
me. Anyways, should we get into our popcorn rating then? Are you ready for that?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. I'm gonna go first this time.
Sounds good.
I'm gonna give this movie a large popcorn. And that's high praise coming from me because we all know I don't like these type of movies, but I like this one. It did what it had to do. It was super suspenseful, wasn't too gory. It was interesting. Concept was unique. Um, yeah, hats off to Jordan Peele. It was a good one. Jeff?
Large popcorn. This is a for me, this is a classic. This is a movie that I've went back to a few times. I thoroughly enjoy this movie. It's got good twists and turns, and every time I watch it, I see something new that I didn't really see the first time. And
Yeah.
it's a this a this a high quality movie for me, and I look forward to watching his other movies.
Yeah, me too. Actually, I'm looking forward to for us to cover the other movies that he's done. Um, so with that, I think it's time. First of all, I can't believe we were on the same page for the last two movies. It's a
It's crazy.
miracle.
Yep.
um, so a wife got mad at her husband. She packed his bags and told him to get out. As he walked up to the door, she yelled, "I hope you die a long and slow, painful death." He turned around and said, "So you want me to stay?"
It's good.
Yeah, it
Like
was
that one.
good. I
Yep.
like that one. I thought it was
Yep.
a banger.
That's a
That's why I
banger.
put it out.
Yep, that's a banger.
Um, Thanks, guys, for watching. Jeff, can you tell them, the lovely people, where
Yeah,
they can
we
find us?
host our podcast on YouTube and Spotify. Like and subscribe. You can catch us on our social media platforms. We have Twitter and Facebook and TikTok and Instagram, and we're just kind of all over the place. So that's where you can find us.
All right, guys, you heard it. Popcorn Patrol out. Until next week, peace.